I hope you all had a fantastic weekend and are getting ready for New Comic Day, which is just a few days away. But make sure you guys are sticking around to the end of the video to find out if you guys won last week's giveaway, but also to find out how to win this week's giveaway. Alright guys, let's go ahead and dive into today's video. What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the second installment of 2024 to the Wednesday pull list, which is your hype video for New Comic Day. I'm gonna get you so pumped and so excited that you guys are gonna be running down to your local LCS or going online and ordering some of these books because some of these stories are so freaking amazing. This was a gigantic New Comic Day for me. I have 21 books on my pull list and I read something like 25 or 30 books to get caught up on all the books that are on my pull list today. So let's not waste any more time and let's go ahead and check out that 21 book pull list. Now, as you guys can see, that is a hefty pull list, a very fat and juicy pull list, and it was absolutely fantastic. But you guys can't see what those books are, so let me go ahead and throw them up on screen right now. Now, like I said, there are 21 books on my pull list. Of the 21, there are 2 new number ones, and like I said, I got caught up on every single title that's up on screen right now, so every single one of these books could make the top 3 list, but not all did. Only 3 did. But guys, let me go ahead and break down this list a little more. There are 6 DC books, 6 Marvel books, and there are a total of 9 independent titles. Guys, the indie books are so good right now. If you guys are not reading any independent titles, I would highly suggest checking out some of the ones that are on my list right now. But guys, that is my pull list. 21 books in total, one hell of a pull list. But guys, there are no books on the chopping block, so we can go ahead and move right over to the next section, which are my cover letter picks. I have a total of 9 amazing covers to share with you guys this week. In the first one up, there's actually 2 covers for Action Comics issue number 1061. The first one I want to show you guys is the cover B variant. This is done by Chris Bacalao, and if you guys have been following this channel long enough, you guys know I'm a huge fan of his, and this one featuring Bizarro is absolutely fantastic. And the other cover that I really like is the cover D variant done by Jorge Jimenez. Same thing, if you guys have been following the channel long enough, you know I'm a huge Jorge Jimenez fan, and I believe this is the 3rd version of this style of cover. He's done Batman and Catwoman, he's done Nightwing and Batgirl, and now we got Lois Lane and Clark Kent, or I should say Superman, and it's just so freaking cool. I want to get them all CGC graded so that way I can have them up on the wall and just show them off because Jorge Jimenez is such a stud artist. But guys, next up is another stud artist in Ultimate Comics issue number 1. Now this is the store exclusive from ScottyYoung.com. This is absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait to read this new series by Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cicchetto. This is going to be so good. We got Peter Parker and Mary J. Watson finally married together, and they have a daughter and a son, and I cannot wait to see this version of this character. But guys, next up is an awesome cover for Transformers issue number 4. Now this is the cover D. It's the 1:25 ratio variant done by Sanford Green. Now what I really like about this is if you really look at the cover, around the blue like fire wave or whatever, it says Soundwave around it. How cool is that? I missed that at first. I'm like, oh, this is an okay cover. But once I saw the writing that said Soundwave, I was like, oh my god, I gotta try to get my hands on this cover because it's so good. Now, next up is Green Lantern issue number 7. Now, I've showed this cover off before on Final Order Cutoff in my previous video because I think this cover is that cool. This is the cover D. It's the 1:50 ratio variant done by Jorge Fornes. Now, what is gonna be really cool about this is that this cover is going to be pretty rare. We're on issue number 7 of Green Lantern. I don't think a lot of shops are going to be ordering 50 copies of this book at this point, so there's only going to be a few shops that are going to have this. So this book is cool, and it's also going to be pretty rare. Guys, next up is Batman and Robin issue number 5. Now this is the cover B variant done by Jorge and Molina. How cool is this? This is just so good. I'm a huge Batman fan. I love Damian Wayne, and Jorge Molina crushed it on this cover. But guys, next up is another cover for Batman and Robin issue number 5. Now this is the cover E. It's also a 1:50 ratio variant done by Nicola I don't know how to pronounce the last name. I'm not even going to try, but this artwork is so fantastic. You got Orca coming down on Batman. You got Damian Wayne with a rope around. He's pulling his head back. So good. Now, I think this book will not be as rare as the Green Lantern because Batman and Robin are bigger characters than Green Lantern, in my opinion, and I believe stores think so as well. But guys, this is a gorgeous cover, and I would say try to get a copy of this because it's that good. But guys, next up is my favorite cover of the week. This is Rise of the Powers of X, issue number 1. Now, this is the variant cover, and they also have a 1 in 100 ratio variant of this, which is a virgin, and it's done by Alexander Lozano. How freaking gorgeous is this? This is so freaking good. You got Mystique. She's got her Wolverine claws, and she looks gorgeous as hell. I love the motion in her hair, and the action pose is so good. Gambit behind her. You know, I said this in my final order cutoff video. Doing Gambit shit. I don't know what kind of. He's doing like a spin. He's got his cards, and he's got his pole. So freaking good. This cover, so good. I wish I had the money to buy the 1 in 100 because that is so good. But I did order myself a couple copies of the trade dress because it is just, it is so good. And the last cover that I want to share with you guys that I think is just such a great cover, Zorro, Man of the Dead, issue number 1. Now this is the cover K variant, done by Dyke Ruan. And again, if you guys have been following the channel over the last year, I have become a gigantic Dyke Ruan fan. He did the interiors for volume 3, I want to say. Maybe it's volume 2. Whatever volume of the Magic Order he did, it was stunning. Seeing him on the interiors of a book is just next level. But some of his covers as of late, his artwork has definitely leveled up, and it's so good. And this Zorro one is absolutely fantastic. But guys, those are my cover lover picks for this week, which is January 10th of 2023. Let's go ahead and check out the new number 1 that I think you guys just have to be excited about. Hey guys, it's me. Real quick, before we check out that new number 1, I just want to ask you guys a quick favor. Do me a favor. Look down. If you guys have not hit that like button just yet, do me a favor. Smash that like button. Alright guys, that's it. Let's go ahead and check out that new number 1. There are 2 new number 1s on my pull list this week, and the first one up is Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 1. Now again, I already told you guys that I'm super excited for that book. Jonathan Hickman, Marco Checchetto, Spider-Man. Of course I'm really excited. But there is another book that features a character that I've never read before, and that makes me really excited. And the creator on that book, which is the writer and the artist, is one of my favorite of all time. So I'm like super stoked to read this book, and it is Zorro, Man of the Dead, issue number 1. Now, this is coming from writer-artist Sean Gordon Murphy, and I cannot be more excited to get my hands on this book. Now, this book was on Kickstarter for a while, and it is being printed by Massive, which is an offshoot of Whatnot. If you don't know what Whatnot is, and it's an app you can download and you can buy stuff on it, but I don't care about that. I'm more excited that they're printing books like this. They were responsible for helping Sean Gordon Murphy bring plot holes to life, and now they're bringing Zorro, Man of the Dead to life, and I'm just, like I said, I'm so excited for this book. There's some amazing covers that we're going to go over in just a second, but let me go ahead and read the synopsis for this book. Diego is a young man who is convinced that he is Zorro. As a child, he suffered a psychotic break after witnessing the murder of his parents by the drug cartel in his village. To cope with the trauma, he embraced the 200-year-old legend of Zorro by donning the mask, training with the sword, and declaring war on the narcos for the sake of his people. Don Quixote meets Narcos and Sean Gordon Murphy's Zorro, Man of the Dead. In this modern reimagining, the writer-artist behind DC Comics' Batman the White Knight delivers a fresh take on the legendary swashbuckling hero. If that does not get you excited right there, well, Sean Gordon Murphy has some of the best interior arts right now, and his books are so jam-packed with like feelings and action and just the way he does his panels. It's just so amazing. But guys, trust me, you have to be picking this book up. It is that good. Now, there are some amazing covers that we're going to go over. I just need to go to LeagueOfComicGeeks.com real quick. It's going to load up. Now, the cover A is done by Sean Murphy. It's absolutely fantastic. There's a really cool cover B done by Lee Bermejo. Then there's the cover C done by Matteo Scalera, which is also really good. And there's also a cover D done by Michael Carlo, which is a Batman homage, which is really, really cool. There's an awesome cover. It's the cover E. It's done by Joe Quesada. It's black and white. It is really fantastic. My favorite is the cover K done by Dyke Ruan, which I showed off during the cover lover section. There's a cover J done by Raphael Albuquerque, which is really cool. It's mostly red with a white Z across it, which is really cool, with Zora in the black background, which is black and white. There's the cover L done by Humberto Ramos, which is also black and white. There are just so many great covers. There are a few more, but mostly they're just black and white versions, except for the 1 in 25, which is the cover G done by Dustin Gwen, which is also really good. But again, my favorite is the cover K and the cover A and the cover L done by Humberto Ramos. But guys, this book is going to be so freaking good. You have to be picking up. Come on. It's a Batman-like character with a sword. Zorro, I guess this character is 200 years old, which is just so crazy. And yeah, let's support Sean Gordon Murphy in his independent tales because they are so good. All right, guys, that is the new #1 that I think you guys just have to be excited about. Let's go ahead and kick off the top 3 list with the #3 book. All right, guys, sitting in the #3 spot is our first Marvel book of the top 3 list, and it was so good. I read the first issue yesterday, and oh my god, it was so good. And I was a little nervous that this new team book was gonna be, I don't know, let's say not good, but it was fantastic. And guys, I'm talking about Thunderbolts issue #2 drops this week. This is coming from the writers of Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, and has art by Gerardo Borges. I want to say that's how it's pronounced. I could be completely butchering it. But guys, this new series of Thunderbolts features Bucky Barnes, now called The Revolution, which is like the worst name for a character I think I've heard in a while. It's so bad. But guys, The Revolution is going around and he's putting together a new team of Thunderbolts. And he starts off with finding Contessa Valentina Alegria de Fontina? I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. She is such a cool character in this book. Originally, she was part of Hydra. Now she is a good guy, I guess. And there was this part in issue #1 where we find out something about her, which I personally did not know, and it was really freaking cool. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but it was such a cool moment in issue #1. And he also finds the Destroyer, which is Steve Rogers' girlfriend, and she's a really cool character. And they also got the Red Guardian in there. And this is just the start of the new Thunderbolts team. And they went up against the Red Skull, and it was really cool. And the whole build-up felt natural, and it was really strong and really well done. And the artwork was so freaking good. Every single panel was meticulous and great, and the action was fantastic, and the pacing of issue #1. Everything about issue #1 was fantastic. In issue #2, we're going to get the White Widow, we're going to get the Black Widow, and I believe that's everyone. Yeah, that's all the new characters that are going to be added into the new Thunderbolts team, and they're going to go up against the Kingpin, which is going to be really freaking good. Now, there are a couple of variant covers for this. There is a connecting cover done by Casanovas, and there's also another cover done by Paco Medina. I don't really care for either of them. I'm just getting the cover A myself. But guys, that is the #3 book. I highly suggest you guys check out issue #1 if you haven't yet. Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing are doing an amazing job on their team books. They're writing Guardians of the Galaxy. They're doing Thunderbolts. They're doing a book over at DC called The Outsiders, which is really good. So many good books coming from that creative team right now. So many. All right, guys. Like I said, that is the #3 book. Let's go ahead and find out what the #2 is. All right, guys. The #2 book is going to be the first independent to hit this week's list, and it is called The Sacrificers, issue #6. Now, this is coming from the writer of Rick Remender and has art by Max Fumera. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it. Probably not, but I'm guessing Max Fumera. And I just want to call out first, before we start talking about the story, is that Max Fumera's art is stunning. It is so good. I don't think I've ever seen his artwork in a book before, and seeing it in this book, it is just so good. There's so many interesting characters that he gets to draw in this book, like bird people and like orca people and just all kinds of different humanoid characters, and they're done so freaking well. And there's some gods that are made out of like smoke and stuff, and he also just does them so well. Such a cool book, and he's making this book sing. He really is. It is stunning to look at, and I'm so excited to pick up every single issue and just look at the art. But guys, this story is also freaking amazing. I'm going to give you a very brief synopsis just to get you pumped and excited to hopefully pick up this book, or maybe wait till trade and then pick it up. But if you can, go pick up all the issues, because you can get them on mycomicshop.com right now. All the cover A's are still available. But guys, The Sacrificers is about a group of gods that get sacrifices from all over the world, humans and all these different like groups of people. They get a sacrifice from every single group, and then they get them together and they treat them very nicely. They get them all like, you know, food and whatever they want, and then they kill them and they suck their life force out of them, and then the gods drink that life force and then they become young again. So every so often they get these sacrifices to make themselves young again and rejuvenate themselves. And that is just the first story arc of this book. It ends in something crazy happening, and I'm not going to ruin that for you, but you really need to pick it up because we meet this child of one of the main gods in the book, and she is so cool, and something happens with her. I'm not going to say anything more than that because it was such a cool moment in this book, and I'm so excited to see where this book is going to go. Now, I believe this is going to be an ongoing title because the synopsis of this issue number 6, ends with join superstar creators Rick Remender and Max Fumera as they close out the first chapter of this new hit series. So if you have not jumped onto this series just yet, jump on, because this is one hell of a start. It's going to be a wild ride, and like I said, Max Fumera's artwork is worth picking this book up just for that. All right, guys, that is my number 2 book. Let's find out what my number 1 book that I'm most excited to pick up and read coming out this week, which is January 10th of 2023. All right, guys, the number 1 book that I'm most excited to pick up and read this week is an independent, and it's from, again, one of my most favorite creators. There's Sean Murphy, and then there's this guy, and that is Daniel Warren Johnson. Those two have been putting out some of the best storytelling over the last few years, and guys, everything they write, you guys should be picking up. And guys, the book that I'm talking about is Transformers issue number 4. Now, like I said, now this is coming from writer-artist Daniel Warren Johnson, and issue number 3, which I read 3 days ago or 4 days ago, still is like singing in my head. Now, this book is laden with heavy nostalgia. I loved Transformers growing up. It was like one of my most favorite things. I remember going down to the video store, and I know a lot of you youngins don't know what a video store is, but to watch like movies that just came out, you needed to go down to a store, rent a VHS, and then go back home, watch it, and then rewind it, and then return to the VHS store. But guys, they had a whole Transformers section. I remember going down and getting so excited as I'm watching each one in chronological order. So much fun. It was so good, and I love the Transformers. And issues number 1 and 2 were good. They weren't fantastic, but then issue number 3 really brought it together. It was so good. In issue number 2, they did introduce Duke from G.I. Joe, which was really freaking cool. That was the best part of issue number 2. But there was this moment in issue number 3 where Optimus Prime totally rips off his own arm and then beats the crap out of a Decepticon with it. It was epic. So good. And I just love the way Daniel Warren Johnson is telling this tale, because humans have not seen Transformers on this world before, and they're seeing them for the first time. And of course, some of them are scared shitless. And there's this group of them who are ex-army guys who get together, and then they have all their guns and they're like shooting Optimus Prime, and he's like, no, I'm just here to help you. And yeah, then they realize at the end is that there's good guys and bad guys. Not all robots are the same, just like all humans are not the same. And it was just so good. It was such a great ending to this book. I'm not gonna ruin anything else. Ruining the part where Optimus Prime beats the crap out of a Decepticon with his own arm is enough. But there's so more to issue number 3. This series is seriously building to be something fantastic, and if you have the same kind of nostalgia for Transformers that I do, I highly suggest giving this book a shot. And Daniel Warren Johnson's artwork is like so good. This book it's stunning, it's action-packed, it's heartfelt. There was a great moment in issue number 3 with where a human gets hurt, and then Optimus Prime just does everything he can to save him. Oh, I'm saying too much. I'm like also all over the place because I'm just so excited about this book. Pick it up. Read it. That's the main sentiment that you should be getting, is that this book is the best book of the week for a good reason. Great writer, artist, great storytelling, great action, great everything. Except for the variant covers. All the variant covers aren't great. There's a cover B done by John Boy Myers. There's the cover C, which is the 1 in 10 by Orlando. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I can't even do it on the fly. But then there's that 1 in 25 ratio variant, which is fantastic, done by Sanford Green. It's so good. Soundwave shooting a bunch of Autobots, and like you see Soundwave around it. It's so good. All right, guys, that is the number 1 book. But we're not done with this video just yet. No, we're going to go ahead and check out the not top 3, but the books you got to see. All right, guys, there were 21 books on my pull list, and we just spoke about 3 of them, and then one new number 1. So that would leave, let's say, 17 books to talk about. And so I'm going to go super fast because all these books were really good, but I don't want to speak too long on them because this video would be like, I don't know, an hour long at least. So let's go ahead and dive right in. First up, Action Comics issue 1061 comes out this week. I read issue number 1060 yesterday. It's pretty good. It's definitely worth reading if you're into Superman and Superman characters because they're talking about his full family. There's so many members of the Superman family now, and it's really cool, and I like what they're doing, but it wasn't great. And there's also a backup issue in every single one, and I'm not into backup issues. I want to pick up Action Comics and only get the Action Comics story, not a backup story as well. Next up, Avengers issue number 9. They're introducing some new villain team. It's fine. I don't know. It's written by Jed MacKay, so it's written really well, and the artwork is decent. I don't know. I'm just not feeling this new Avengers run all that much, but I'm going to continue collecting it, and I'll let you know when it gets really good. Next up, Batman and Robin, issue number 5. Issue number 5 was decent. They had multiple artists on this book, not just Simon DeMeo. Simon DeMeo is supposed to be the main artist on this book, and I love it when he is. But yeah, this ending of this book has Damian Wayne going back to school, and that's really cool. And there's this really cool scene where he meets one of his previous teachers from when he was in the League of Assassins, which is really cool. Next up, Blade issue number 7. Decent. I didn't love issue number 6, and I didn't love issue number 5, but it's okay. It's okay enough for me to continue collecting, and I just love Blade as a character, so really cool. Next up, Blood Commandment issue number 3. I read issue number 2 yesterday. Solid freaking book coming from Simon Kredinsky. Just a great monster book. It's really good, and his artwork is next level, y'all. It is so good. Next up, Crave issue number 2. I originally wasn't going to get this, and then I was down at a local shop this last week, and I saw a really cool cover for issue number 1. I was like, well, let me pick it up. I read it. Definitely glad I read it. It's a book about this app that will give you whatever you crave. Really cool, and it's set in a college scene, so of course, everyone wants sexual things, and it was really good. I'm an adult. I like a little sex in my comic book sometimes, and that book was really good. Next up, Fish Flies issue number 4. So good. Jeff Lemire, he's doing the art, he's doing the writing, and I love that his books are like usually long issues, but they read really quickly. So you get a lot of information in a short amount of time, and it's just really good stuff. I love Jed MacKay. Next up, Green Lantern issue number 7. This is a super solid book, guys, especially if you enjoy Hal Jordan as a character. And I totally did not know that Kilowog was dead. And in this reading 1 through 6, I thought he was alive, but then in issue number 6, you find out, tragically, that Kilowog is dead. And that's one of the main characters within the Green Lantern universe. I don't even know how he died, but sadly, he is dead. So I'm sorry if I ruined that for some of you, but that was one of the biggest moments in issue number 6, and it was done super well. Check it out. Next up, Kaya issue number 14 comes out. I just read 13 today. Really good. This book by Wes Craig. He does the art, he does the storytelling. So freaking good. Next up, The Madness issue number 6, the final issue of this series. Cannot wait to read this. The Madness was going to be on the top 3 list, but issue number 5 was more of a build-up. They were building up something big for issue number 6, so it didn't have all that action that issue number like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or 1, 2, 3, and 4 did, not 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So issue number 6 is going to be an absolute complete banger. Next up, Masterpiece issue number 2. This is written by Brian Michael Bendis. I was a little nervous because he hasn't done that much good stuff as of late. This was actually really good. I'm not going to go ahead and tell you anything else, but this was a good Brian Michael Bendis book, and the artwork is actually really good in this book as well. Really intriguing, like mystery stuff. Next up, Spider-Man Miles Morales issue number 15, or I should say Miles Morales Spider-Man. This book is getting a little better again. It's not fantastic. It's worth picking up if you like Miles Morales. Next up, Outsiders issue number 3, Colin Kelly, Jackson Lansing, Outsiders. Really good book so far. Issue number 2 was fantastic. You got Batwoman, you got Batwing, and this character called the Drummer, which is really cool. Such a cool concept for this book. I'm really, really liking it so far. Next up, The Sensational She-Hulk issue number 4. This is total popcorn book. It's cheesy, but I love it for some reason. I really, really enjoy this series. I hope this series does not stop anytime soon. Again, it is cheesy. It's popcorny. Very lighthearted, but I'm loving it so, so much. Next up, Titans Beast World issue number 4. I've only read issues number 1 and 2. I actually meant to find issue number 3, but this series is good. Not great, good, better than I thought, and some really good heartfelt moments in issue number 2 between Batman and Nightwing, and I really like that. But again, I guess I did not get caught up on all the books. I lied earlier, and I did not even realize I did. But guys, next up would be Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 1. Read this book. It's going to be fantastic. It really is. Jonathan Hickman is such a great writer. Marco Trucchetto on the art. Must read. Next up, Wesley Dodds' The Sandman, issue number 4. It's just a fun book set back in the 1940s with the character of the Sandman with art by Riley Rossmo. It's just, I don't know. I'm really enjoying this title, and I think you guys should check it out. And that's it. That's all the books on my pull list. I gave you a little tidbit for each one, why you guys should be going down and read those books. And that's going to do it for today's video. So let's go ahead and wrap this video up and find out who won last week's giveaway. Now, before we get into the giveaway, I just want to let each and every single one of you who've watched from the beginning to this moment right now without skipping a single frame of video that you guys are legends. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way through to this part. I'm sure this video was really long, but I really appreciate you guys doing that. Now, I'm gonna ask you guys one more thing. Did you guys watch that video and you guys enjoy comic content, but you guys are not subscribed? Well, I'm just gonna say, what are you doing? Get yourself subscribed, hit that bell for notifications, and smash that like button. All right, guys, let's go ahead and cut up close and find out who won last week's giveaway. All right, guys, as you can see, this is my video from last week. I'm gonna go ahead and pause that, but I'm gonna go ahead and copy the URL, and then I'm gonna go over to here, and then I'm gonna paste the URL for that video right here, and then I'm gonna hit this fetch button. I'm not gonna say anything goes. You guys know how we do this, a keyword filter, and we got the hashtag I love comic books. That's what you needed to do. You needed to leave a comment on last week's video saying something and then leave the hashtag I love comic books. That way I can find those comics. How many comments were there? There were 47 comments with the hashtag I love comic books. Let's go ahead and find out who won last week's giveaway. And 3, 2, 1, it was Matt C 4086, and he left a comment. Happy New Year, Bruce and Stephanie. Hope you have a great 2024. And Matt, I can tell you right now, we're having a great 2024 so far. But Matt C, congratulations. Congratulations, Matt C, one more time. I'm so happy you won. Now, what I need you to do is to go over to Instagram. Our handle is right here, and slide into our DMs and give us your address, and I will get your winnings out to you in the next 3 to 4 weeks. It does take me a little while, but I promise I will get these winnings out to you as quickly as I can. Now, if you guys want to get an entry into next week's giveaway, you need to do these 4 things. They're easy, they're simple. Just do them, guys. Number 1, you need to be subscribed to the video. Number 2, you need to live in the United States of America. Number 3, you need to leave a comment. And number 4, that comment has to have the hashtag I love comic books. And that's all you need to do, really, to get an entry into all the giveaways I do. But that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a fantastic new comic day, which again is January 10th of 2023. So if you're watching this video a little late, that's when all these books were released. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.